Okay. All right. So we're already recording the session. So again, I while reading the house rules just now, I saw so many just join. So welcome to my reading club, everyone. We have Miss Aida here. We are just about to start. So we Miss Aida is a singer and she speaks 7 languages. We are. I'm not sure about any of you, but I am very curious to know how she got to where she is now, which is 7 languages. I can
Oh,
barely speak three. So, without wasting any time, I'm giving the spotlight to Saida to start with her story.
okay. All right. Hi, guys. Good evening, everybody. Wow, this feels so weird. I haven't done this at all other than teaching German classes. That's the only time I actually use Google Meet. So, this is my first time actually sharing my story with the world. I think just in a way that is closer and more intimate. And uh, I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's just start off with yeah, my name is Saida. As Ashura mentioned, I'm a singer. Am I allowed to mention the company name? Yes. Okay. Okay. So I'm actually a singer under SRC Surya Records. I've been singing professionally for about 5 to 6 years, and I have been singing since I think it was already 12 years, 11 to 12 years. So it's already quite long. And, but yeah, again, strange enough, me being a singer was never being something that had, I don't know how to say it, but people never really, I don't know, appreciated me for singing. And suddenly it happened with just a simple TikTok video that I did not know actually would be this um, viral or known in any way. And so, yeah, I guess this is where we are. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about how the whole book reading and everything started. And so let's just jump right into my life story. So, first of all, I am 23 years old. I'm mixed, so I'm half Chinese and half Malay. So, my dad is Malay. He grew up in KL. So, yeah, he grew up in KL. My mom, she's Chinese, so she's converted a Muslim. She's from Ipoh, Perak, and they eventually met and they fell in love, and and now yeah, they have 4 beautiful children, and I'm the second one. So I have an older brother, I have a younger brother under me, and also my youngest sister. She's actually joining us right now. And so yeah, it all started. Um, the reason why I actually speak 7 languages, it has to go all the way from where I was born and where it all started. So um, I was born in Switzerland. I was born in Visp. Visp is nearby Zermatt. So if you guys have ever been traveling to Switzerland, or if you guys have ever been, anywhere near Switzerland, or ever heard Toblerone chocolate. So the Toblerone chocolate has a mountain on the picture of it, and that was basically the place where I uh, was born, and I think that was where my dad started. So yeah, I was born in the mountains, and I grew up in the city in Zurich, Switzerland. And so my dad, he was the one who actually started all this. So it was 1994 when my father he got a job as a chef in a hotel in Zermatt, so in the mountains, and he was actually the first Malaysian or the first Malay guy to be working in the mountains and representing, Malaysia in a way. He was actually cooking Japanese cuisine, so that's where he started. Um, and when he was working there, my mom was still here. Thanks, Mahira Mukhtar. um, so yeah, my mom was still here, and they eventually decided that okay, my mom had to move with him and had to go to, Switzerland. I can tell you, for my parents, it was scary enough at the age where there were no cell phones. 1994 did not have any cell phones. You couldn't contact anybody. There was no internet. There was no Wi-Fi. So my parents, they had to contact, like, I don't know how they did it, but it was just awful. Like, um imagining again how they did that was amazing. So yeah. So my mom, she moved to Switzerland with my dad, and at first my father, he was really afraid of moving into a new country. Imagine if you're just 20. I think he was 20 years old, and he had no idea what he was, basically doing. He did not know where he was going, and he did not have any friends. Again, my parents, they had some issues because, it's the racism again, the Chinese and the Malay. So, but they're fine now. My parents are fine now. I mean, my family, parents, and everything is fine. But that's how they started off. So they had a really hard time finding themselves as a couple and in a relationship, finding a place for them to actually, call home, or have the specific friends they needed, and no one was basically there to support them. Were they already married when he went to Swiss? Yes, they were. So they had my brother first, but unfortunately, my brother, he was born in Malaysia. So um, after that, he got to grow up and be raised in Switzerland. So yeah, and eventually, they had a hard time there. And they didn't know the culture. They couldn't speak the language. Again, German and Swiss German is a total different language. So my parents, they struggled a lot. They didn't have anyone there, and they were up in the mountains where there were no trains, no cars, nothing really. They only had like a home and the place where my dad works, and my mom was just taking care of my brother. And then I came along. So it's a sad emotional thing for my parents. um but yeah, I think it was 1998. That was when I was born. And I was born in the mountains, like I mentioned before. So it's actually a big privilege to be born somewhere in the mountains. Like usually you are born like somewhere in the city, but we got to make history. Like our family actually got to make a beautiful history, a legendary one. The first Malaysian to be a cook in the mountains of Zermatt of Switzerland. It's beautiful, and I was actually privileged to be born as the first Malaysian in the hospital in the mountains. So that was something that's something really touching. Yeah, if I look back at it. Um, what else can I tell you about? Okay, yeah. So we started off like that, and getting myself comfortable. So yeah, we started off like that. Then my parents, they decided to move. So from Samat, we decided to move to the city because I think my father, he got a lot of job opportunities in the city. And Samat is a great place. So it's actually a place for people, to go skiing, snowboarding. It's a winter wonderland. Like that's what they call it. It's a winter wonderland. So anyone who goes there, gets to feel the snow and the lights and the beautiful, I don't know, just the environment itself is, it's what you picture to be the perfect Christmas, and that would be it. So yeah, that's how Zermatt is. So it's a small town. It's actually a really small town, but it's filled with tourists all the time. Oh, and fun fact about my dad actually, um, he was so good at his job. Like he was so good at cooking and entertaining people. Teppanyaki, and he actually got to serve a lot of different people, like a lot of different celebrities, like Stephen Chow, Billy Joel, um, ABBA singers, and they all complimented him for his work. So yeah, it's a nice thing. I feel so happy for my parents.
That is so amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Thank
I mean the it's the amazing part started back even when your dad went to Swiss, like
you.
at the mountain, got a
Yeah.
job there. That's amazing enough. And
Yeah.
like the rest of the story just became like super amazing.
Wow.
Oh my god.
So yeah, he actually got to serve a lot of different people. You name it. I Stevie Wonder, uh, the guitarist, or Pink Floyd or something. I can't
Uh,
remember. But my dad, he cooked for so many celebrities, and yeah. So and he was also one of the Malaysians that brought other Malaysians to Switzerland to get a job. So he helped out other fellow Malaysians to get a job. So yeah, that's a part of how special. How I actually look up to my parents. They are an inspiration for me. So yeah, and where was I? Oh yeah, the part where we actually moved out from Samat. We moved to a city part. We moved to several places. I think the first one was Luzern. So Luzern is also some place that people love to go. It's also a very touristic place, and it was more in the city and all. After that, I think it was already like we stayed there for 1 year, and we moved to Zurich, and we moved to several places, here a few months, there a few months, and
uh Saida, I think you muted.
oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Did was I muted for long?
No, no, no. Like just a few seconds. You were muted after you said you guys moved to here a few months and then there a few
A
months.
few months. Okay, all
Okay.
right. Thank you. So yeah, we moved to several places. Yeah, here a few months, there a few months, and finally, I think we ended up in a place where I can call home. So my parents finally decided that okay, the children need to be raised in, apparently it's a funny word, but a ghetto place. And like in all of Switzerland, we have this place in Zurich, in Winterthur to be exact, and that was the place where we grew up. It's a place known for, gangster people. I mean, it's not that bad. You don't imagine Detroit or something, but um, it's not as kampung like as any other place. We have a lot of races there, so different people, like not only Swiss people, we have people from Serbia, Albania, Italy, Russia, Turkey, eh, everything possible. So yeah, because when people ask me like with what kind of people did you actually grow up, so that is, yeah, that's the thing. I didn't grow up with just Swiss people. We grew up with several other people and other races, and yeah, and yeah, so I went to kindergarten at the age of 4, and so let's talk about the languages. Like, how does 7 languages happen? You don't just get born into it,
Yeah.
right? You gotta work for it. You have to learn it, and
Yeah.
but people constantly ask me, okay, where did you learn it, and why would you learn so many languages, and for
Mm.
what, and what are the reasons? So basically, like I mentioned before, my mom's Chinese, but she never really spoke Chinese to us, to any of us. But she sent me to a Chinese school in Switzerland. So when I was younger, she did send me to a Chinese school, but I never really liked it. I hated Chinese for some reason because it was just so difficult. The writing and the pronunciation, the su 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 and all that kind of stuff. and and I told my mom, okay, I think 1 year is enough. I don't want to go into Chinese school, and now I regret it like
Ah,
so bad. Yeah, so I do speak very very basic Pasa Chinese, meaning I speak to my mom like in very Pasa language. For example, mom, can I have some money, or can we go and eat? Yeah, okay, that's the kind of
The
thing that I'm
simple
talking
ones.
about. And Malay, I think Malay was really brought up when I was since I was a child. So, and English as well. So that was the main languages that we spoke at home. Because my dad, he was very strict about the language, especially Malay, because he said that he has seen a lot of different people out there, mostly Malaysians in Switzerland that do not speak any Malay at all, even if they were, born in Switzerland or anything like that. They couldn't speak any Malay. So my dad was really conscious about that. So he said that no matter what, you need to be able to speak Malay. And he did it. He did it in a very natural way. Alhamdulillah, I don't have any slangs. I think, yeah. And, yeah, so he brought us up with speaking Malay at home. So he said, no other language at home. When you come home, you speak Malay, and that's it. You don't get to speak, German or anything. Just Malay and English. That's all. So, yeah. So in kindergarten, I grew up with a lot of Swiss German, because in kindergarten is where we start speaking Swiss German with friends, and people would actually they wouldn't help you out. The teachers don't help you out. They just don't tell you, okay, this is what this means, this is what that means in English, and this is what that means in English. They don't. They can speak English, but they do not encourage kids to be taught in that way. So they would usually just start speaking in Swiss German, and I would always cry. So I had this, I had this anxiousness inside me when I was younger. I was so afraid of going to school because I couldn't speak the language, and neither did I understand what they were saying. And but yet they still did it on me, and they forcefully put it in my head, and eventually, that's how you get into the language, right? And and then of course communicating with friends, you had to be able to speak Swiss German to your friends, because if you don't, you can't fit in, because they don't speak other languages, and they definitely do not speak any English. So yeah, that's
Don't they don't speak English, or it's just in kindergarten kind of thing that they don't use
generally
mm.
generally I think they don't speak English. I mean, in school they all had trouble, like all my Swiss friends, they all had trouble. They would usually ask me, Sarah, can you please help me out, because I don't understand this in English? And I said, yeah, sure. So yeah, they have trouble speaking it, but they do. It's just not what people expect, because when I say, oh, I'm from Switzerland, and they'll be like, oh, I bet you speak English so good. And I said, no, we don't actually speak English there. We speak German, so it's a complete other language.
Exactly. No, I mean, I'm sorry, I have to say it. I thought they speak
Ha!
English.
There you go.
Like I when you said like German and stuff, I'm like, oh, they speak German there, or like just you in your community speak German. They don't speak English.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
all
it.
right.
So yeah, to everyone joining us, now you finally know that Switzerland do not the Swiss people don't speak English, and some of them actually don't at all. Like if you ask them questions, they couldn't answer you. Like yeah, most of the time. But I mean, now the world is just it's better with the internet, and everyone is on social media, so everyone is catching up on English. But they didn't have that back then, so yeah, it was difficult to fit in because I couldn't speak German at that time. Um, so then again, when I mentioned Swiss German is under French, German or Standard German or High German, what they call it, Hochdeutsch, is something again very different to Swiss German. Uh, Standard German is the German or the national language of Germany. So meaning that is the national language that is spoken in Germany. But the Swiss people, they have a dialect which is called Swiss German, and you speak this in between friends or just nationally with people. But if you read and write, everything is written in German. So again, when you go to school, you're gonna, have to learn everything in, you know, standard
Diplomacy.
German.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, the teachers will speak to you respectfully in High German or Standard German, and will teach you in that language, and everything is written and read in that language. So yeah, again, that is something different. Um, so if I would say the most fluent languages that I speak is definitely, yeah, English, Malay, Swiss German, and German. So those are the four languages that are, yeah, fluent as a native
Mm, mm, mm,
speaker,
mm.
right? Um, and then of course we have uh, French, Italian, and again Mandarin that I mentioned just now. Uh, French was a compulsory language learned in school, so without any doubts, the teachers will teach you French at grade five, fifth grade. So that was when we learned French, and you couldn't get out of it. It's not a subject that you can choose not to take. It's
Mm.
compulsory. So the teachers would usually yeah, teach you everything in French, the vocabulary, the grammar, the speaking and the writing and the reading and all that. But honestly, we never used as much French because it's just something that you need to learn because French, again, is also a part of Switzerland. The language French is spoken in Switzerland a lot, and there is a part in Switzerland where French is spoken. So yeah, you need to know basic French, but speaking and all that, I would say I'm rusty and I'm horrible at it. So yeah, less fluent in a way. Um, and then of course Italian. I was surrounded by a lot of Italian friends, and I think the culture that really sets you in Switzerland is definitely Italian friends and people. They're very oh, okay.
What is?
They're very open and they're very homey. So, if you are someone in Switzerland, you would definitely know a lot of Italian friends and people. So, I learned Italian by my friends because I told them just start talking and I'll just catch up, And because I think learning a new language for me was never that difficult. So, Italian is a very easy language. So if anyone wants to start with a new language, you should definitely start with Italian. Yeah. Roger that. um, what else? Yeah. So those are the languages, and that was the way I, got all of the seven languages. But they're not all spoken and read perfectly, or you know.
Just now when you mentioned your mom asked you to go to Mandarin school,
Mm-hmm.
and then you say you don't like it,
Yeah.
and now you're regretting it.
Mm-hmm.
I totally understand you. My mom speaks Mandarin very
Oh.
fluently. Yeah. Um, my grandparents, I don't know what were they thinking, but apparently they think, but apparently they thought sending my mom and her siblings to Mandarin school, Chinese school, is a good idea, which it is a good idea even until now in 2021. And then when she had us, we also have four siblings. So when
Mm-hmm.
she had all four of us, she would ask every single one of us whether we want to go to Mandarin school.
Hmm.
Well, my two sisters didn't want it, and then she asked me, and she was like, and then she said, I don't want it, and now I regret it as well. And
Oh.
then,
Okay.
and then when every time I brought it back up now, I
Mm-hmm.
would say, why would you let a 4-year-old decide what she wants to speak?
There you go.
but then
Exactly.
but then she ended up sending me to English school. So I was like, then what's the difference? What's the difference? Why don't you just send me to Mandarin school?
Cool.
But I mean, yeah, like you said, I totally understand it. Like, of course, when we were little, we didn't know anything better. So of course we
Yeah.
said we don't want anything more difficult. I
Mm-hmm.
think okay, as for you, English, because you speak English in your house. As for
Yeah.
me, I have to learn it. So maybe I think logically, Malay and English is not that different. I
Yep.
mean, we still use ABC, and we still use, it's somehow. it has something same. We know the alphabets, but like you said, Mandarin is super hard. I tried. I know I learned certain languages on my own as well because I also love languages,
Mhm.
and it's somehow easy to catch up. But Mandarin, no, just no.
Exactly.
It's
Yes.
so hard to catch up.
Oh, what are the languages that you were learning?
Oh, well, the I think it's just like a very typical one, Korean, Japanese.
Ah, okay.
I'm
Okay.
interested with, I think Spanish.
Spanish
Well,
is an easy language.
really?
Yes, yes. I forgot to mention that. I'm learning Spanish right now, to be honest, and it's one of the easiest that I've ever learned, other
Oh,
than Italian, actually.
okay.
So
I
yeah.
wanted to start Spanish as well, but I'm not yet proficient. I learned Mandarin two days. Yeah, totally get it. I think I opened the book, the Mandarin characters, and I was like, no, okay.
Yeah,
I
just
was,
yeah.
yeah, true. I mean, that's why I respect people that can fluently, that like not Chinese, but they can speak Mandarin and can read, can write. They're
Yeah.
great. Did it for one semester and remember exactly. uh, yeah, okay. See, a lot of people are actually studying different languages as well, which is great because we also just knew that learning other languages are actually good
Yeah.
for our brain,
Brain. Yeah.
yeah, brain growth and like that. Yeah. Okay. Continue with your story.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. Again, about the languages, I think
Mm.
I saw a question asked if German is difficult. Yes, I think German is one of the most, not the most, French, out of all the languages, French would be the number one most difficult on the pronunciation and
Mm-hmm.
also the writing and the reading. Because what you write and what you read doesn't sound exactly the same on how you pronounce it. So so sorry if you're Sana. Oh my gosh. If you had met me earlier, I would have given you this advice. Um, German would be the second most difficult language for me to learn. Um, because German is not only difficult for the pronunciation, but it is difficult because of the grammar and vocabulary. So I don't know if any of you learn German. The most difficult one would be Der die das. So this is what I'm currently teaching in my German class. Everyone is struggling with it, and I totally understand because I'm still struggling with it. Even as a native speaker, it is still different and difficult for me to remember all of those things, especially if you don't focus and if you're in a different country where you don't even have, German
Yeah.
friends. It's difficult, yeah. But again, if anyone wants to learn a new language, definitely start with Spanish or Italian. Those are the most easiest language if you're looking for something foreign, to be speaking. Sorry, Italian and Spanish. Yeah, that's it. Um,
Surti said they're interested in learning languages but don't know where to start. There, Saida just said just now. If you want to start, you can start with Spanish and
Italian.
Italian. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Yeah. Other than the languages, I also wanted to share that the languages that I learned are not from since I was a child.
Mm-hmm.
Like Italian, I learned when I was 14.
Oh.
And I was not young at that time. I mean, 14 is teenager age. And that was when I learned Italian. Whereas French, I learned at the age of 11. And Chinese or Mandarin, actually, I learned like speaking wise. I never could speak when I was younger. And whenever my mom sent me to the Chinese school, I couldn't speak or read. So Mandarin I picked up at the age of 15.
Oh.
It's interesting. It's not like what everyone is expecting. Oh, she's
Yeah.
probably learning it from the young age. Well, not exactly. Mandarin. A funny story about why I learned Mandarin. It was because the first time we actually moved from or migrated from Switzerland to Malaysia at that time, um, my parents decided to put me in an international school in Johor Bahru.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Seri Omega. So I used to school there for 1 year only. And I thought it was absolute prison. I hated the school for so many reasons. They were so strict, and it was called an international school, but 90% of the students were Chinese, all of them.
Oh.
And they didn't actually make it into an international school. It was actually a Chinese school, so to say, you know? And
Okay.
the rules and everything, oh gosh, I have never been beaten before or touched by a teacher, in Switzerland. Because once a teacher touches you in Switzerland, you don't feel comfortable about it. You can just go to the police and they'll get arrested for
Oh,
3 years in jail. And, whereas in Malaysia, I didn't know you were allowed to be beaten up with rotan and all that kind of stuff. And I was. And I was telling my parents, this is not right. This is wrong. You can't do this to me, Am I in
Yeah.
prison, And they were picking on me because I was half Malay and half Chinese. They couldn't accept the fact that I was just, half. They wanted me to be either Malay or Chinese or Indian, and they couldn't accept me being half. So I didn't know where to put me. So they kept bullying me, they kept picking on me, and that was when I picked up all those things and I started learning Mandarin by listening to what they were saying and to what they were answering. Yes, Mariam, it's very sad. I have a sad life. So,
I mean, I
yeah.
think it's unfortunate that you have to learn Mandarin that way instead of a good way where
I know.
they have a way to actually teach you, but they chose another way.
Yeah.
And so you went there for 1 year, and then you.
And then I moved to a different school,
Uh,
and because I told my parents, okay, I can't do it anymore.
mm,
So I was like, okay, let's go to an actual international school. So
okay.
I thought it was an actual international school, but ended up I got bullied in every school I went to. I went to 4 or 5 schools in Malaysia to just finish my studies, and I skipped Form 4. So basically, every year I moved to a different school because I couldn't take it. Everyone kept bullying me for, you know, I don't know if I can mention this,
Mm.
but
It's
you
a,
know,
listen,
is it okay?
if you're comfortable,
Okay,
then
I'm
yeah.
comfortable. I'm
Okay.
okay.
You
So
can just say it, yeah.
before I actually went into Sri Omega, I was in school SMK Setiwangsa.
Mm-hmm.
When I was moved to when I was migrated from Switzerland to Malaysia. The first school my parents sent me after 1 or 2 weeks of staying in Malaysia, not knowing a lot of Malaysia, they sent me to SMK Setiwangsa. And that was one of the most pailang schools in KL. And I got bullied so bad because I was not them. I was different in a
Mm-mm.
way, and they couldn't accept me in that way. So that was one of the mentalities that I wanted to also speak about. That I'm still struggling to understand. That most Malaysians, they are afraid when you are something more than them, or when you are not the stereotype or mainstream, as they are, and they expect you to be something like they are, and you're not. And I was always thought that it's okay to be different, and being different is fine. It's something unique,
Yeah.
and you don't have to fit in. But they taught me differently in Malaysia, so I had to be someone that I wasn't, just in order to fit in. And they bullied me for that. I got kicked, I got hurt. They pushed me down the stairs, they threw away my food, they put glue on my uniforms.
Oh my god,
It
that's
was
so mean.
horrible.
Yeah.
I'm finally having a platform to share this.
You can share it. Yes.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god. That and that happened when you were in high school. So
I was
around 2000,
14. I was 14,
you're
if I'm not
14.
mistaken. Yeah,
So
and I
around.
went to school for only 2 months in Setiawangsa, and then that was it. I couldn't do it anymore,
Of
and then
course. Yeah. I mean, who would be able to face that? Oh my
yeah,
god.
and
I
when I told my parents, and I was like, they did this to me, did that to me, and I came crying home, and they were like, "That's normal. That's Malaysia," and I was like, "Well, it's not like that in Switzerland. It's different," and again, I spoke Malay. I spoke, but I
mm,
never read or written in Malay. So that was the thing that they bullied me and all that kind of stuff. And so yeah, again, after Sri Omega, I moved to a different school. It was an international school. Well, I thought it was an international school. Ended up was the same thing. Again, I got bullied for the same things. And then I moved to another school. I skipped from four. And after international school, I was actually supposed to take my O levels or IGCSE.
Mm.
And I told my parents, you know what? No, I'm going to challenge myself to take the SPM to be respected as someone who is Malaysian. So I
Mm.
said, oh, I'm going to do it without anything or any kind of experience in writing. I did not even know what karangan was. And I had to take my SPM in 5 months. And the teacher was crying because she was like, are you going to be able to do this? Are you understanding what's going on? You're having SPM, and everyone was freaking out. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do it. And I did. I passed with flying colors. Everything was C and above. And nothing, I failed at nothing. So that was good. And okay, yeah, I think I don't want to speak about the school anymore. I think there are other things that I can speak
Of
about.
course. Okay. We don't have to touch about the school part.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
but hold on. When you're okay, I'm sorry. I think it's still around school part.
mhm,
So when you moved here, when you moved back here,
mhm.
don't you feel like moving back?
Oh yes. Oh
And,
yes.
and the reason why your parents basically moved back here is because of their job.
Yeah. Okay. The reason was I think everyone asks me that because they were like,
Yeah, since you,
why?
yes, and also linking to that, since you knew the situation here already, you first handed the experience those
Mhm.
things, and I'm so sorry that you had to go through that.
It's
Um,
okay.
you decided to stay here
Huh.
even after you're an adult.
Okay. Here's a tricky answer to this tricky question. The reason why my parents actually moved here was
Mm,
I think they were kind of sick of it already, staying in a different country, in a foreign country. My parents, they're not the type of people like, okay, if you go to a different country, for say you go to Switzerland, you're gonna stay there, become a Swiss. Um, Again, my parents are open-minded people, so they said that it is okay to be open-minded to move again to our country where you get to know where you're from actually and your
mm,
roots and why, and everything. So they thought it was a good idea to move to Malaysia. They thought it was a good idea. In a way, or in a religious way, I would say Alhamdulillah, yes, it's a good thing for me. I
mm,
think I learned more things about Islam. I think I learned more about my culture, and I get a lot of knowledge about it. But it's sad that I had to leave something very good behind, especially education wise and all.
mm.
So yeah, they said that okay, we want to move to Malaysia for good because I think it's finally time for us to present to you Malaysia. And I'm so sarcastic in this. I'm so
It's
sorry.
fine. It's fine. I mean, I will understand. I understand sarcasm, but I'm not sure the others.
Yeah,
But
I hope you
it's
guys
fine.
do. Please don't feel bad. I'm not putting down Malaysia or anything.
Totally
Um,
understand. Don't
yeah. So,
worry.
yeah. They wanted to be a part of Malaysia again, and they wanted
Mm.
to, bak kata orang Melayu, uh, die in Malaysia. Di tanah,
Tanah tumpahnya darahku.
yeah, tanah tumpahnya darahku. That's it.
Okay.
Yes, in that way.
Mm.
And people keep underestimating me and say, "Oh, okay, so when you speak a lot of languages, again, this is the thing that I mentioned about the topic that we were talking about.
Mm.
Speaking a lot of languages doesn't make me less Malaysian, so
Yeah.
I'm not in a way. Yes, I speak Malay fluently, and it's not an issue. It's just that I'm choosing to speak English in this session.
True.
Um, yeah. What was your question again about my parents moving here
And
and
then you stay here
why did I
and
decide?
despite all of your experiences. I mean, okay, personally, like you say, I don't hate my own country. I was born and raised here,
Yeah.
but we all know the situation here.
Yeah.
So what makes you feel like I can, I choose to stay here?
Okay, I think when it was like 1 year or 2 years when we started living here, and then only my parents kind of opened up their eyes and were like, okay, this was definitely not a good idea, because financially it was a problem.
Oh.
Yes, of course, if you are from Switzerland and you come back to Malaysia, you're like, I don't know, quadruple as rich as other people, but people take advantage of you. And in Malaysia, we lost all of the money because of people taking advantage of us, and we got kena tipu banyak kali for businesses and all that. But so the reason why we couldn't go back was uh, in Switzerland, when you were born there and you were raised there for 12 years, so you're not allowed to go out of the country if you want to get the Swiss passport. So since birth, I already had the Malaysian passport, but because again, as a foreigner, I was born there and raised there. I actually got my passport at the age of 12, but my father, he denied it because he said that which is I think the one thing that he regrets now. Um, he denied it for reasons because he thought that if he was going to take the Swiss passport and the Malaysian embassy knew it was going to be cut off, and we couldn't be Malaysians anymore. The Malaysian passport will be cut off. In Switzerland, it's fine to have three different passports,
Oh, wow.
but in Malaysia you can't, right? So
Yeah.
they said, we are saying Malaysians, kita kekal orang Melayu and kita kekal orang Malaysia, and ended up um, now this is the time where it's trouble for us because we didn't get to choose. Some idea, we want to be Malaysian or not, or we want to keep the Swiss passport or not, and we are currently struggling. So I cannot go back because I don't have the Swiss passport. I only have the Swiss IC that has been cut off because my parents said we are going out of the country. We're not coming back. When we were in Switzerland, they told the Swiss embassy that we're going to Malaysia, we're not coming back for good. And now Swiss does not recognize us, me or my family, and yeah, so that's the issue now. So I wish I could go back, and if it wasn't for the pandemic or for the COVID thing, I would have gone. I think almost every year, once or twice, a few months, to see my friends and see home again. I think that's what they call me, a third culture child. Is it when you don't really know where you belong to?
Oh.
Yeah, it's when people say, okay, where do you want to live and where's your home? I don't know because I can't say that I feel welcome in Malaysia when I'm not, and I can't say I feel welcome in Switzerland when I'm not. You know,
Allowed to.
my yeah, no, yeah, and my blood is not Swiss. I'm
Mm.
Malay. But the Malaysians don't accept me for who I am, so I don't know where I'm actually, um, yeah, where I actually belong to. So yeah, that's one thing. Oh, I saw a question. What I
Just
do teach, I teach German. If you guys are interested, you can go follow me on
I
Instagram and
did.
see.
I did join your Telegram group to join
Really?
the basic German, and then I joined, and then it said it's full already. So I was like,
Oh,
oh
it was on the day that I first started the lesson, I think.
no. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that was the first one because the Google Meet limit is only for 100 people, right? So
Yeah.
I think that one I was joining, and then it was full already. But
Mm. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I mean,
it's fine.
for anyone else, if you are interested, yes, I do teach, and there is always, of course, a fee and payment because that's my job. But
Yeah.
the fee and the payment is super cheap and affordable. I only charge 50 ringgit for 2 hours, and you get to learn reading and writing and speaking, especially. So, oh, I want to get back to that. I think now that we're out of the topic of that stuff, for those, I think, other than just telling a story, I think I would want to be able to inspire people. I think I kept mentioning this to Ashura, that I am a person who really wants to inspire people with my life. That again, if you want to learn a new language, just do and learn it. can you suggest how to learn a language if you don't have the environment to practice? Yes, again that is the issue, because if you want to learn a language, you should definitely be surrounded by the people speaking that language. And so if you want to do that, I think it's best to maybe find friends from that country, but it's not easy because you don't know anybody, right? So but all I can say is, if you do find somebody, make sure that the person speaks that language to you, and not helps you translate things, because that was the way, and that's the easiest way I learned the language. And yeah, learning a language means you forcefully put your brain into it, and not try to look up anything. Just absorb what people are telling you in that language, and eventually you'll get through it, because your brain is forced to speak the language and
Mm. And
communicate.
if I may add, I mean, the way I learned from I was like in high school, I
Mm-hmm.
think, since I was childhood lah. The way I learn is through the media itself. So
Mm-hmm.
as for me, I cannot live without music, without songs. So that's how I learned a lot of things. I even started my English when I was in like, okay, let's say 4 years old lah. If I masuk kindergarten at 4 kan.
Yeah.
So and then my mom already opens me up to Westlife.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the starting point. I think even until now, I see that you know media can help.
Yeah.
So like Firzana asked just now,
Mm-hmm.
um, suggestion if people want to learn new language but their environment is not allowing them, like what we are now in Malaysia,
Mm-hmm.
media through anything, music, books, and then through there you'll find people that has the same interests,
Yeah.
and then you can make friends, and then
Yeah.
it goes back to your point, friends. Mm.
Yeah. True.
And then I saw a lot of languages, language rooms, French, German, you can name it. Charge join, no worries. Okay. Okay, we have 5 more minutes, 4 minutes now. Wait, I have a question just now. Ugh. Oh my
Is it
god.
okay if we actually langgar sikit masa, or is it exactly a 10?
Usually we would prefer 10, but if you want to langgar sikit, we can ask the participants if they are free, if they can, if they want to extend a little, maybe until 10, 15,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Mm. So the participants, are you guys okay if Saida wants to extend a little this session to 10, 15 maybe?
I'm good. I don't mind. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we can extend.
If
Then
anyone just doesn't want to join anymore, you can, I think, just leave the chat. I mean, it's, yeah.
yeah,
It's not something.
if you guys are busy or anything, you guys can just
Yeah.
leave the room. Okay, back to you, Saida. Continue.
Okay. Yeah. The reason why I said I wanted to extend,
Mm.
because I think there's so much more to say. Whenever you warmed up and now you know what to say. At the
Y-
very beginning, I was like, oh my god, where do I even start? My life
I
is messed up.
understand.
My life was messed up, and yeah. Okay. Touching back on uh, I think this is again something I want to highlight. Not fitting in. I think I'm
Mm.
taking this advantage to share
Yes.
that. That is how I learned it. Now that I understand, for those people who feel like you are not a part of something, even Ashura, I think this would be something for you. If people keep telling you you don't have to learn a new language, like buat apa nak cakap bahasa English, bahasa Melayu kan boleh, for what, betul tak?
True.
Or people tell you you must be something in order to fit in. It took me 20 plus years. I'm 23 now, and it's still taking me time to accept this. And I'm getting emotional telling this, but yes, it's okay to be who you are. You don't have to be um, mainstream or the kind that people are looking for. Because people will love you for who you are, and people accept you for who you are. And I always thought that I did not fit in any way. Even the issue now that is, I'm currently in Malaysia. I left Switzerland when I was at the age of 14, 15, And coming to Malaysia, I always had this in my mind. You know, leaving at a teenager age was the time that you actually had the most fun, and you leave out so much. You leave out your friends that you are starting to, get along with. And you leave a country to go to a different country and you find new friends again. And then again, I had this thing on my mind. I kept saying to myself, okay, if I'm Malaysia, even no matter how bad people treat me here, it's okay. I can still go back to my friends in Switzerland. People will still love me for who I am. But when I went back, and I kept expecting that in my mind for, I think I did not go to Switzerland for 5 years after that. I went at the age of 20, and I did not go to Switzerland ever since, like in that 5 year gap when I was in Malaysia.
Mm.
And I kept telling myself, okay, if I go back to Switzerland, I get to see my friends again and they're gonna love me for who I am, but they did not. Okay, so this is the sad part here. Um, they did not accept me that I was now again more religious because I did not wear hijab back then, and I I don't have the same thinking anymore. They go to clubs and I don't. They go to places that are pergaulan bebas and I don't even even if I could, but I don't. But and some just don't accept me for that anymore. And now I'm just friends with, I don't know, out of all the people that I know, I'm possibly just friends with 3 or 4 people that I can really surely count on that accept me for who I am, in Switzerland. And I thought those were my friends. And now in Malaysia, I'm stuck and I don't know. Um, oh gosh, I really feel like crying right now. I don't open up like this. And oh
No,
gosh.
it's totally understandable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Continue.
Again, fitting in is not easy, and I'm still finding the place to fit in, because I can adapt to anybody, but no one can adapt to me. I feel like in Malaysia you have so many different types of people, groups, meaning you have the extremely rich ones who speak all about the bag you're wearing or whatever it is, or where you're from, and the money or whatever, and I can be friends with anak-anak Tan Sri and Dato and speak the way they speak. And then I can be friends with people because I basking dulu, and I can be friends with people yang that basically are nobody and cakap bahasa pasar, ataupun there's certain people when you are in a country or in, for example, in London or in Australia for 2 7 years, you come back to Malaysia and you're a person here and you don't fit in with people below you. But I put a standard where I try to fit in with everybody,
Mm.
because it's not nice to put people or just avoid people
Yeah.
in a way, you yeah, that is what I'm doing. So I adapt to everyone, and I think that is so difficult, but I managed to do that. And yeah, uh, again, yeah, be yourself. I think love yourself for who you are. And wow, thank you.
We are.
Thank you. um I think the platform, I think rezeki lah. It took me 9 years to be in Malaysia and to be understood and to be amazed. Everyone thought of me, oh, okay, she's a singer, but what is in her? So it took me 9 years for people to understand my journey, and it's beautiful that now people are starting to understand. And I felt all alone before this because I was like, who am I sharing this to? Takkan I nak tiba-tiba, go to someone and be like, okay, I'm the girl who speaks 7 languages, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and now people are coming up to me and say, you inspire us so much with your story. We are amazed by how well you carry yourself. You're respectful with the religion. You pakai tudung, you tutup aurat, you cakap bahasa Melayu. And that is what I needed for all these years, So again, this is such a great opportunity to be able to speak to people, even though if it's not that many people, but I get to share something so meaningful, And yeah, is there any other questions that I can answer regarding languages or life experiences? um Please do. I actually, I'm out of things to say. Yeah.
All right. If you guys have any questions, you guys can just you guys still have time. We wanted to extend just now at least until 10:15. So we will wait until then or not. We can just wrap up. But in the meantime, while waiting for they to send, can you perform us a song? Oh my god, should we share screen to watch your music video?
Yes, please
Okay.
do. It
Okay.
also has German in it. It's
Oh.
special. It's a very meaningful. Okay, before we do the screen sharing,
Mm.
um, this song I wrote, Usa Ko Kembali. It's my second single. And society wanted me to write a very jiwang or sendu song, and I was like, okay, how am I going to put my character into this kind of song? Because I usually sing jazz songs or R&B or soul.
Mm.
And I said, okay, I want to make something different. I contacted one of my school friends. He was actually, his name is Dennis. He is actually my first crush when I was in school.
Oh.
And yeah, it's a sweet story. And but we're not anything anymore. We're just friends now. And he was so kind. And I told him, are you able to do this with me? This music video. And he was like, yeah, I could do that. And because Swiss people are usually very close, they don't like you taking pictures.
I'm sorry. Of course they do. They do have this, but
Yeah,
do they have entertainment?
they do, but they keep it more on the. Oh yeah, this is an interesting question. The entertainment thing. I baru perasan benda ni. When I came back to Malaysia, the entertainment is totally different than theirs. We have concerts,
Mm-mm.
we have movies, and we have yeah, I think, yeah, concerts, movies, and all that kind of stuff. In Switzerland, they don't encourage that. We usually have theater acting, meaning you act live.
Oh, like the theater, the real theater, not the movie theater.
Yes, the real
Wow.
theater where you actually see people acting. And that was a part of it. I used to act as well in theaters,
Oh.
So, yeah, it's more traditional. And for the music, we don't encourage concerts or, such things. We have traditional Mozart or Beethoven songs and music. So it's like you're living in a different era, actually.
Oh wow. I never thought of that.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean,
And
yeah.
I
I mean,
just
we're
came
in.
to my mind.
I mean, it's 2021. I thought like at least every countries have their own entertainment lah. I mean, okay, that's some sort of their entertainment, but it's more classic.
Yes, classic. That's
Mm.
it. It's not like USA or Americans. We are totally different. Europeans are totally different than the Westerners. So yeah, we are more true to ourselves. So we prefer it to be private and again classic music. Um, we enjoy going to yeah, theaters, plays. Um, what is it? I think things that are more organic,
Mm.
natural
Mm. Mm.
things,
Mm.
they're not involved in social media. And that's why when people say, can you sing me a Swiss song? And I was like, I don't know any. Because Swiss people don't sing, they don't have, they're not like Germany. They don't have like, nice jazz soul songs that you can sing. They don't. They have like the yodeling and they have the traditional music and
Wow.
yeah, so it's different, yeah. And
They must be very private people.
they are, so that is what makes that was what makes it hard for me to approach them when I'm there. I want to take pictures and they're like, oh, can you please not do that? I was like, why? I'm just I'm just doing it from Instagram. Yeah, especially for your Instagram, you do not want to be seen. So I'm like, okay. um
Wow.
yeah, so yeah, and I think Malaysia community or the society in Malaysia, we do want to take everything, we
Yes.
do want to film everything, we do want
Yes.
to show our lives. And there it's different. You are not allowed to ask them how much they earn or where do you live or those kind of things. They seem a little bit private about that.
Okay, so we want to listen to your song. Which one do you prefer we want to listen to? Hold on.
Usah Kau Kembali. You
Okay,
can
that
just
one.
type it. Usah Kau Kembali, Saida Salim.
Mm,
So meanwhile, you're looking for that song. I'll just tell a little bit about it.
okay.
It's
I
a
actually
sad
found it
song.
already. Okay.
Oh,
Uh,
well, that's quick.
all right. It's okay. You can just tell us first.
Okay, so yeah, the song is about someone who is in a long distance relationship, and
Mm.
it's actually based on my true story. So if you see parts of it, it's actually true. I was in a long distance relationship before, and that was how it ended. I mean, I was not cheated on, but we just went different ways, and yeah. So it's based on a true story. It's a very sad song. It was written, I think, with one of the very special people. He's actually in here.
Oh.
His name is Ashraf. He's blind, and he wrote this song with me. We did it together, and it came out beautifully. So um,
Oh. Okay.
yeah, do enjoy the clip.
Right. Let's enjoy it.
There you go. That was it.
You have a nice voice.
Thank you so much.
I
Wow.
really love your voice.
Thank you.
It's the
Wow.
hold on. Um, apart from the guy cheated on
Yeah.
you, okay, that one sucks. But your the storyline is another thing. But your voice made me want to cry. Your voice yang make me want to cry, not the fact that the guy cheated. The guy,
Oh,
yeah.
that's so sweet. I want to be recognized for my voice, and
No, you will
yeah.
be. Trust me. Seriously. Okay. Yeah. Farisha said her mom likes your voice.
Wow.
Yes.
Even her mom is watching. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. All right.
So
Uh,
should I wrap it up and say last few words?
yeah. Okay. So, yes, Arlene, please go stalk her YouTube. Okay. So, that is all for today's session.
Yeah.
Saida, you have any last thing you wanted to say?
Yes. So the last thing is thank you very much to everyone who has been joining us and still is in this meeting or in this session. I really, really appreciate everyone listening to my story. I really do hope I get to inspire people with just a part of my story, even even with my personality. That's something I also want to put out. I'm a very happy person. So if anyone wants to speak to me or please do ask me for anything on Instagram. I will try to reply as much as I can. And also, yes, if you want to learn a new language, don't let anything stop you, because learning a new language is being able to uh, have a home everywhere you go. So you bring a part of everyone, and people will respect you for being able to speak their language and have a deeper level of conversation with someone. Is what makes you someone, is what makes everyone want to be friends with you. So please do learn a new language. It's also good for your IQ. And if you have kids, I would totally suggest sending them into a language school. Get them learning a new language, get them see different cultures, see different ways of presenting yourself, because every country, not even country, but every race even has a different way of what do I call it, yeah, presenting yourself.
Mm.
So it's important to not be self absorbed, and we need to learn other people's mindsets, mentalities, and countries, and open up to everyone else. And that is the only way you get to learn and appreciate the beauty of this world. Because you think you might know everything, but you don't. Even in this part of me, I still believe that I have so much more to learn. I still want to meet so many people, and it automatically opens you up as a person. So this is one part of advice that I can give everyone, and I hope everyone does get to do something, even better than I am, do something better than I do. So yeah, and thank you so much once again, Ashura, for making me feel welcomed, and everyone else making me feel open. It was such a great session. I've never done this before, and I feel so grateful. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Saida, for sharing your story. I know some parts of it we planned to
Yes.
talk about it, but
Yeah.
some other parts of it that I'm pretty sure it was not your plan to talk about it because it's heavy, but you managed to talk it out of
Mm-hmm.
comfort, I would believe
Yes.
so. So thank you so much for sharing your struggles with us. Now we know more part about you instead of just inspiring us with the fact that you can speak 7 languages. You even inspired us to still be someone that is strong despite everything that has happened to you. We are truly sorry, but we also look up to you very much now, not
Thank
just as someone that can speak 7 language, but also more than that,
you.
someone that is strong, independent, and even I don't know, what do kebal.
Goodbye.
Like you're like you still stand, like I said, if I were you I wouldn't be able resilient,
Well, that's
yes,
a
thank
beautiful word.
you. If I were you I wouldn't be able to be like where you are now, so you inspired us that part
Thank
already.
you.
So thank you everyone as well for joining us tonight. Don't forget our reading club is every Friday 9 to 10 p.m. except for today. Sorry that we delayed a little. Okay, so that is all for this week. See you guys next week, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you
Thank you so
so
much.
much. All right, you may leave the meeting now.
Okay, thank you, Ashura.
Thank you, Saida.
Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great night.